Women of Reddit, what are red flags when it comes to dating men? If they only talk about themselves, if they constantly try to convince you that they're too good for you or you too good for them, they should treat you both as equals. If they say all women are crazy, except you. Laughing off or ignoring your boundaries or just things you want. Another one is believing that women are all one way. Plenty of good-natured men who don't hate women do this. I guess it's just a lack of interaction with women, but it can get to the point where they don't really see you for yourself, or you gotta prove them wrong constantly, or they may have these expectations for you don't live up to. There was a This American Life episode somewhat recently where a woman in Australia went out and interviewed men who catcalled her on the street. Every single one of them, to a man, claimed they believed women enjoyed being catcalled and that it made them feel special. And every single one of them, when informed that was not the case, tried to justify it by saying the interviewer was only speaking for herself, and that they still sincerely believed most women enjoying being catcalled. And I'm listening to this, as a man with 3 sisters, and just wondering how the fuck you grow up so isolated from women that you not only think this wrong shit but also continue to obstinately believe it when told it's obviously not true. Saying what I can and cannot do. Let's be clear, that's my choice. If you have an opinion about it, I will absolutely have a conversation about it and consider your thoughts. I'm not unreasonable. But there is a huge difference between expressing an opinion and attempting to control. Edit. Wow. This blew up. Obviously, I could have been a bit more detailed in the original post to give some context, but for the most part you all understand what I'm saying. I just want to say, guys, there is a huge difference between communicating your feelings and attempting to control a person. If you tell a significant other that them talking to / texting someone else makes you feel uncomfortable, that isn't being controlling. That's expressing a feeling and opening up communication about an issue. Don't feel badly about expressing concern. If your partner values you, they will listen, communicate, and at least attempt to compromise. One I haven't seen mentioned is the inability to respect boundaries, even small ones. It doesn't matter what it's for, no does not mean convince me. Recent example, guy kept saying how he loves to cuddle and when can we cuddle. I told him that was way too fast and that I wanted to put a pin in that until we knew each other better. He agreed, but then he kept bringing it up. Finally I stopped things because his pushiness and neediness was making me uncomfortable. Another common example is someone trying to buy me a drink after I say I'm good. Makes me wonder A. Why they want to get me drinking so badly, and B. If they don't hear no here, where else will they not hear it? Edit. As a PSA, the hands down best way of dealing with this is to turn the awkwardness around on them. I said no. Why are you making it weird? 9 times out of 10 it'll stop them in their tracks, especially if they are decent people. Who have simply internalized the sometimes women say no when they really mean yes social malarkey. The other 10% the interaction was probably beyond saving anyways. Gay man here, if you're dating a man who seems nice and cool and charming, and then after a while you start to notice that when you say something he makes really odd, incongruous and perplexing replies that politely but completely refute what you have said even though it is a completely benign, uncontroversial, factual comment, he might have a habit of being controlling. Just something that happened to me. It starts slow but gets worse. Trying to isolate you from friends or family. This can be so sneaky. I had so once who was acting really upset, and when I asked him why he said it was because my mom told him a lie. I don't even remember what it was, but he was really upset that she lied to him. Said he didn't feel like he could trust her anymore. Then a few weeks later he said the same thing about my sister. Then a month later it was my best friend. Once I realized that I was pulling away from everyone in my life because if he couldn't trust them then I couldn't trust them, I had a huge oh shit moment where I realized, oh my god, he's about to start getting physically abusive. Got out of there so fast after that. It took me too long to realize what was happening, but this was what it was for me. At first, she tried to turn friends against me. Wasn't a big deal, because I wasn't too close to them, they were more acquaintances. The closer friends started making fun of her, so it was a joke to them. Then she started trying to turn family against me. That's where I realized she was crazy, and I needed it to be over, as safely as I could for myself, as possible. Trying to impress me by shitting on other girls you've been with or your friends. Also not being honest about your intentions. I don't see anything wrong with only wanting a smash and dash / FWB relationship from someone. Just don't lie about it. Don't go fucking crazy / be persistent if they turn you down. When they're obviously hiding something and you ask about it and they get mad. Edit. Many people are asking if I was prying into his personal life. No, I was not. I was dating a guy who said he wanted a relationship with me and I told him I wasn't ready for that yet. I saw him flirting with a girl I knew. He was touching her everywhere, tickling her and wrapping his arms around her. Later when I was with him I asked him if he had feelings for her and he was very angry that I asked that. That was the red flag. Later I found out he was doing the exact same thing with her, telling her he wanted a relationship with her and telling her that him and I were just friends. Refusing to let you keep friends of the opposite sex, especially if it's a lifelong friend that you had before you met them. Wanting to know the password for your phone or laptop before you are ready for them to know the password and getting more and more pushy about it. Reading these threads and seeing all the weird people that people are dating always feels so bad when realizing how super single I am. If they're too close with their mothers or still relying on their approval like their children. You have to remind them constantly of plans you've made. They cancel last minute on plans 9 times out of 10 and act like it's no big deal, and then tell you you're being too sensitive when you begin to get frustrated. Doing nothing in public, only hanging out in private. If the phrase "I'm a nice guy" leaves their lips, I advise running in the opposite direction. In my experience, any man who has said this so baldy has been the opposite of nice. They seem to be trying out different personalities on you at first, seeing which one you respond to. This person is manipulative. Hard to explain, but they put on very different social masks to exploit people. I was told that when we started dating, I was to install a GPS program onto my cell so he'd know where I was at all times. He flipped when I told him nope, argued that his last GF did it and that's how he caught her cheating, so it was a sign of trust. Got TF out of there immediately. When I give you a heads up that I won't be able to text or talk for a while because I'm working on something time sensitive or complex, and you bombard me with messages and calls anyway. It wasn't like I was doing this every day, but if every 2 to 3 weeks I tell you I'm offline unless there's a corpse I need to identify. I'll text you when I'm back, and I get 13 messages in under 4 hours? I'm not going to be happy, and if you do it repeatedly I'm out. I'm guilty of this, only because when I say it and the way I interpret it I usually mean message away. Just know if I don't reply this is why sort of thing. If I don't want someone to message me during a certain time I just say don't send anything between this time. I personally like getting little messages to read after I can pull my phone out again. I do the same thing, as does my so. If one of us is busy all day, the other still messages them about their day and what's going on knowing full well that the messages won't be seen or responded to until later.